Warning: important information. All video stories presented here are created solely for informational purposes. The content within these videos is intended to inform and educate viewers. Please be aware that the information provided may not be exhaustive or up-to-date. It is essential to verify any critical information from reliable sources. The creators of these videos are not responsible for any actions taken based on the content herein. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to our channel, where books come alive on screen. Get ready for 5-chapter wonders that inform, captivate, and spark your imagination. Join us in this literary journey where every chapter is an adventure. Breaking Chains, Nelson Mandela's Apartheid Resistance, by Just Stories. Chapter 1, Apartheid's Grip, setting the stage for Mandela's journey. In the heart of South Africa, a nation rich in diversity, a dark cloud loomed over its people. It was the era of apartheid, a system of institutionalized racial segregation that cast its shadow for decades. This chapter takes us back to a time when Nelson Mandela's remarkable journey began, when the chains of apartheid firmly gripped the nation, setting the stage for the rise of an extraordinary leader. In the mid-20th century, South Africa stood at a crossroads. The National Party, led by Dr. Daniel Francois Malin, came to power in 1948, introducing apartheid as official government policy. This policy was rooted in the belief of racial superiority, leading to the brutal separation of racial groups, especially between the white minority and the black majority. Discriminatory laws, such as the Population Registration Act and Group Areas Act, further entrenched segregation, tearing communities apart based on the color of their skin. The black population was subjected to a relentless system of oppression. They were stripped of their basic rights, confined to impoverished townships, and denied access to quality education, healthcare, and jobs. The inhumane pass laws required black individuals to carry identity documents, restricting their movement and autonomy. As apartheid tightened its grip, resistance movements began to emerge. The African National Congress, founded in 1912, transformed into a powerful force advocating for the rights and equality of all South Africans. Mandela, a young lawyer with a passion for justice, joined the ANC and was soon drawn into the struggle. The Sharpeville Massacre in 1960 marked a turning point. Protests against pass laws escalated, culminating in a horrific event where police opened fire on peaceful demonstrators, killing 69 people and injuring hundreds. The world watched in horror, and international pressure mounted on South Africa to end apartheid. Mandela's commitment to justice deepened, and he, along with fellow activists, adopted a strategy of nonviolent resistance, demanding equality through peaceful means. He worked tirelessly, using his legal acumen to challenge the apartheid regime in courtrooms and to unite diverse communities against a common oppressor. But peaceful efforts were often met with violence, leading Mandela and others to consider more radical measures. This chapter explores the complex decisions and the evolving landscape of the anti-apartheid struggle, setting the stage for Mandela's eventual journey into armed resistance. As we close this chapter, the stage is set for Nelson Mandela's extraordinary life to unfold. Apartheid's grip was tightening, but so was the resolve of those who sought freedom and justice. Mandela's journey, marked by resilience, sacrifice, and an unyielding spirit, was about to become a beacon of hope not just for South Africa, but for the entire world. The next chapters will delve deeper into the pivotal moments and the inspiring individuals who played their part in breaking the chains of apartheid. Chapter 2, The Prison Years, Robben Island and Mandela's Resilience. In the heart of the cold, unforgiving waters off the coast of Cape Town lies Robben Island, a place that would become synonymous with suffering and injustice. This chapter delves into the harrowing period of Nelson Mandela's life when he was incarcerated on Robben Island. It explores the conditions, the camaraderie, and, above all, Mandela's unwavering resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. Robben Island, once a leper colony and a maximum security prison, became the grim destination for Mandela and many other anti-apartheid activists. Their crime? Defying a regime that sought to suppress their humanity. Life on Robben Island was grueling and dehumanizing. The prisoners were subjected to hard labor in the lime quarry, where the relentless sun beat down on them and the limestone dust filled their lungs. Isolation was another weapon used by the authorities. Mandela and his fellow inmates were confined to small, damp cells for up to 23 hours a day. They were allowed minimal contact with the outside world, and their letters were heavily censored. Despite these hardships, Mandela's spirit remained unbroken. The turning point came when Mandela was offered conditional release by the apartheid government in exchange for renouncing his beliefs. It was a momentous decision. Would he compromise his principles and gain his freedom, or would he remain resolute in his commitment to justice and equality? Mandela chose the latter, and his decision sent shockwaves through the world. His refusal to bow to the oppressors made him a symbol of unwavering determination. Mandela, together with his fellow inmates, embarked on a series of protests and hunger strikes, demanding better conditions, education, and the right to be treated as political prisoners. The international community rallied behind their cause, adding pressure on the apartheid regime. Gradually, conditions on Robben Island began to improve. The prisoners were allowed to study, and Mandela, a lawyer by training, used this opportunity to educate himself further. He read voraciously, immersing himself in history, philosophy, and literature. Education became a source of empowerment, enabling him to communicate with his fellow inmates and prepare for the challenges that lay ahead. Mandela's resilience and leadership qualities shone through during these difficult years. He formed strong bonds with his fellow inmates, transcending racial and cultural divides. Together, they turned Robben Island into a place of learning, debate, and solidarity. As this chapter draws to a close, Robben Island stands not only as a symbol of oppression, but also as a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and triumph over adversity. Mandela's resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship becomes a beacon of hope and inspiration, not just for his fellow inmates, but for the world at large. The next chapters will explore the evolving landscape of the anti-apartheid struggle and Mandela's eventual release, as well as the challenges and triumphs that awaited him beyond the prison walls. Chapter 3: Defiance and Unity. The anti-apartheid movement takes shape. In the darkest corners of South Africa's history, a spark of resistance began to flicker. This chapter delves into the tumultuous period when the anti-apartheid movement took root and grew into a formidable force. It explores the unity among diverse communities and the defiance that would eventually shake the foundations of apartheid. The 1950s marked a crucial turning point. The African National Congress and other anti-apartheid groups intensified their efforts. In 1952, the ANC launched the Defiance Campaign, a mass protest against apartheid laws. The campaign encouraged people of all races to openly defy discriminatory laws and was met with widespread support. As the movement gained momentum, leaders like Nelson Mandela and Walter Sisulu emerged as charismatic figures, advocating nonviolent resistance. They toured the country, rallying support and spreading a message of unity and equality. The government responded with brutality, but it only fueled the flames of resistance. The Sharpeville Massacre of 1960 became a defining moment in the struggle against apartheid. Peaceful protesters gathered in Sharpeville to oppose the pass laws, but police opened fire, killing and injuring scores of unarmed civilians. The international community recoiled in horror, and the United Nations imposed sanctions on South Africa. In response, the apartheid government declared a state of emergency and arrested thousands of activists, including Mandela. The ANC, pushed underground, contemplated more radical forms of resistance. It was a time of critical decisions, where the movement's leaders grappled with the question of whether to embrace armed struggle. In the face of escalating violence, the ANC made a fateful decision. It formed an armed wing called Umkhonto we Sizwe, with Mandela as its leader. The organization aimed to sabotage government installations while sparing civilian lives. This marked a significant shift in the anti-apartheid movement, as it transitioned from a predominantly nonviolent campaign to a more militant stance. The movement's unity was tested as it navigated this new path. Diverse groups with varying ideologies came together under the common goal of dismantling apartheid. Mandela's leadership played a pivotal role in maintaining this unity. He reached out to leaders of different racial and political backgrounds, fostering a sense of inclusivity and shared purpose. As this chapter concludes, the anti-apartheid movement has taken shape as a multifaceted force, incorporating nonviolent resistance and armed struggle. Unity among its leaders and supporters remains a cornerstone, despite the challenges ahead. The journey toward justice is far from over, and the next chapters will explore the complexities of this evolving struggle, leading us toward the climactic moment of Nelson Mandela's release and the eventual downfall of apartheid. Chapter 4: Negotiating Freedom, Mandela's Release and Path to Reconciliation. The world watched with bated breath as South Africa stood on the brink of historic change. In this chapter, we delve into the momentous events leading to Nelson Mandela's release from prison and the subsequent path toward reconciliation. It is a story of hope, courage, and the power of forgiveness. By the late 1980s, international pressure, combined with internal resistance, had brought apartheid to the breaking point. South Africa was a nation in turmoil, and the apartheid government realized that it could no longer maintain its grip on power. Talks between the government and Mandela's African National Congress began in secret. Negotiations aimed at ending apartheid and establishing a democratic, inclusive South Africa were underway. As the negotiations progressed, Mandela's stature as a global symbol of freedom grew. He remained resolute in his commitment to a non-racial, democratic South Africa, and his release from Victor Verster prison in 1990 was a momentous occasion that reverberated around the world. Mandela's release marked a turning point in South Africa's history. Throngs of jubilant supporters gathered to welcome their hero, and the world celebrated his freedom. However, the road ahead was fraught with challenges. Negotiations between the ANC and the apartheid government were complex and often tense. Mandela and his fellow ANC leaders faced tough decisions as they navigated the delicate process of dismantling apartheid while avoiding a descent into chaos. The climax of this chapter revolves around Mandela's leadership during these negotiations. He demonstrated remarkable statesmanship, advocating for peace, reconciliation, and forgiveness. Despite decades of injustice and suffering, Mandela's message was clear: the time for revenge had passed, and the nation must move forward together. In 1993, the negotiations bore fruit with the signing of the historic interim constitution, paving the way for South Africa's first multiracial elections in 1994. Mandela's path to reconciliation continued as he reached out to former adversaries, including President F. W. de Klerk. Together, they urged the nation to embrace the spirit of forgiveness and unity. Mandela's message resonated with South Africans, inspiring them to participate in the elections and vote for a democratic future. The elections took place peacefully, and Mandela was inaugurated as South Africa's first black president. His leadership and vision for reconciliation were instrumental in preventing a violent power struggle and ensuring a peaceful transition. As this chapter draws to a close, South Africa stands at the dawn of a new era. Mandela's release, negotiations, and commitment to reconciliation have set the stage for a united, democratic nation. The journey toward justice and equality continues, but it is a journey marked by hope and the belief that forgiveness can heal even the deepest wounds. The subsequent chapter will explore the challenges and triumphs of Mandela's presidency and the lasting legacy of reconciliation in South Africa. Chapter 5: Legacy of Liberation, Mandela's Enduring Impact on South Africa. As Nelson Mandela assumed the presidency of South Africa in 1994, the nation stood on the precipice of a new era. This chapter delves into the remarkable legacy of liberation that Mandela forged during his presidency and the enduring impact he left on South Africa and the world. It is a testament to his leadership, his commitment to reconciliation, and his unwavering belief in a brighter future for all. Mandela's presidency marked a period of immense change and progress. South Africa's first democratic elections in 1994 were a global symbol of hope and transformation. Mandela's leadership was instrumental in fostering a spirit of unity and reconciliation among South Africans. He sought to heal the deep wounds of apartheid by establishing the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which aimed to bring to light the atrocities of the past and promote forgiveness. Despite immense challenges, including a struggling economy and high levels of inequality, Mandela's administration made significant strides. Reforms were introduced to promote racial equality, access to education, and healthcare. The nation began to rebuild itself, and South Africans from all walks of life worked together to create a more inclusive society. One of the defining moments of Mandela's presidency was the Rugby World Cup in 1995. South Africa's national rugby team, the Springboks, was historically associated with apartheid-era divisions. However, Mandela recognized the potential of sports to unite the nation. He donned the Springbok jersey and rallied behind the team, sending a powerful message of unity. When South Africa won the World Cup, it was a symbol of triumph not just in sports but also in the nation's journey toward reconciliation. Another pivotal moment was Mandela's decision to step down after a single term as president, setting a precedent for peaceful transitions of power in South Africa. This act of selflessness solidified his status as a moral beacon, inspiring leaders worldwide. As Mandela's presidency came to an end, his work was far from over. He established the Nelson Mandela Foundation, dedicated to promoting his values and ideals, including human rights, peace, and reconciliation. He continued to advocate for global issues, such as HIV/AIDS awareness, and played a key role in mediating conflicts in Africa. Mandela's legacy extended beyond the political sphere. He inspired a generation of South Africans and the world to believe in the power of forgiveness and unity. His life story became an international symbol of hope and resilience, leading to numerous honors and awards, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. As this last chapter concludes, Nelson Mandela's legacy shines brightly in the annals of history. His impact on South Africa and the world is immeasurable. His unwavering commitment to justice, reconciliation, and human rights continues to inspire generations to come. South Africa's journey toward freedom and equality is forever intertwined with the enduring legacy of Nelson Mandela, a true icon of liberation. The subsequent chapters will explore the lasting effects of his work and the ongoing quest for a more just and inclusive world. Thank you for diving into the world of words with us. If you had a blast exploring this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share the bookish love with your friends, and make sure to subscribe for more amazing 5-chapter adventures.